The thing about The Honeymooners, it's an iconic sitcom ingrained in everyone's hearts.
And everybody that I can remember watched The Honeymooners.
Hey, Alice.
When I heard they were doing a remake, I kind of got excited.
Knock, knock. Morning, Kramdens.
To me, the legacy of The Honeymooners is an embodiment of the American dream.
To be a part of something like that is kind of cool. It's kind of like being like a part of history.
The Honeymooners was one of my favorite TV shows growing up, and with all the shows that were converted from TV show to features, this was the one I always wanted to make the transition with.
It got you to really, like, big belly laughs, but it also, at least one point in an episode, you'd get locked up here because it was so emotional.
You could take this classic show and glean from the show all that was important about it, yet make it update it perfectly with the right casting.
We did a list of who could play Ralph Kramden, and when we started talking about Cedric, he seemed like a very fresh choice.
He had proven he could act. He's definitely funny, and I thought he could pull off the heart. And the thing about Cedric was he's also musical. The way he is, the way he acts, his body language, he's musical. And all those little things that Ralph would do, like this, you know, like that, little things that were very specific. There was the very music, not only in the language, but in the body movements.
Jackie Gleason was the prototype that developed it early on to help us get started. And we saw the characteristics he had, and Cedric had those characteristics better than any other working actor today. So boom, Cedric's got to be the guy.
I got the box sets and I sat at home and I watched, you know, a lot of the old shows. Probably not as many as the director wanted me to watch. I got enough to kind of get a feel of what he did as Ralph Kramden. And then I decided to kind of do an homage to him. I wanted to make it my own and at the same time give you the essence of the way Gleason did it.
Ralph Kramden, operator of this machine and this machine.
Like most American males, he's found a woman he loves. He wants to do the right thing by her. He has dreams of grandeur.
I'm gonna own this town!
Of course, you know, like most Americans, we never really get to that part of it.
Is that what you think? I own this town?
I just asked you to talk to the super about the pipes. That's all, Ralph.
So much of Ralph is Cedric in the sense that he's a larger-than-life kind of personality.
We got Sarah. What are you guys gonna do? Two-shot. We want a two-shot. We got Sarah. We want a two-shot, and we want to get out of here.
More positive, ways, I think, than Ralph Kramden. Ralph's a little brash.
I got somewhere to be. That's all you need to know, and that's it.
It's so perfect, man. It's like, if Jackie Gleason were black, he would have been Cedric The Entertainer, man. I mean...
Take the wipe, leave the French toast.
And once we had Cedric, then you start to talk about who's going to play Cedric's wife. And the next thing you know, the movie has a largely African-American cast. But it wasn't like we began the process saying, we want to do The Honeymooners black. It just wound up that way.
Look, maybe I went into our accounts and maybe I took some money, but then again, maybe someone has a birthday coming up and I'm just trying to surprise her.
My birthday's in 8 months, Ralph.
The thing about Ralph and Alice's relationship is that it is totally rooted in love. Sometimes they forget that.
I asked you to do one thing. One thing. You never appreciate anything I do, Randy. You never have. You know what? I can't take it anymore.
They fight like cats and dogs, but they love even harder.
Ooh, baby, you gotta go.
I am late.
Here you go. Here's your lunch.
I'm thinking, taste the cakes.
Yeah, be careful.
Always am.
Alice has her feet firmly planted on the ground and is really more into a more settled life. And Ralph is constantly giving her new adventures to live through.
Only Ralph. Our future depends on a dog race.
Alice is very true to the sitcom. She was a sensible one out of all the people in the group.
You'd only talk to the landlord like I asked, Ralph.
Yeah. See, that's a great idea.
I wanted Gabrielle to be Alice. I just thought she had the qualities that Alice Kramden had, mainly that she was a woman who could weather the storm of Ralph Kramden.
Well, the truth of the matter is that Alice and I don't always get along. Wow, I never noticed that.
I play Ed Norton, the sidekick of Ralph Kramden Enterprises.
Ralph met a guy on the bus who gave him a Godfather deal. Yeah, that's right. Godfather deal. Boom!
When I told my grandmother I was doing the movie, she went flipped out. You mean you doing, what you playing, Norton? And I said, yeah. She said, boy, that's a good one there, boy.
It's a city beneath the city. And I got it all right here, Ralph.
This character is a guy that worked in the sewer that, you know, that was proud of it.
It's like being a brain surgeon of Spider-Man.
I was in Spider-Man.
I really worked in the sewer in my real life. I moved to Atlanta and worked in the sewer for about a year. I just stood down there and cracked jokes and act like I was working and made all the guys who were really working work hard by cracking jokes.
This is what I do,
What's great about this guy is that we're best friends through and through. Whatever lame brain idea I come up with, he's like, man, you a genius. He's right with me.
Norton, this is it. We buy the train.
He's completely in character. So whatever comes out of his mouth is so Ed, even when it's not written on the page. And it's just been such a pleasure to work with him because it's so amazing to see an actor come up with stuff in character all the time.
I wish you would. I'm a purple belt.
Mike Epps is out of his mind. I mean, there's got to be a crazy outtake reel from this movie about him because he's just hilarious. He's out there. He's on his own trip.
Hey, it ain't even funny.
Oh, yes, it is.
It was so perfect because Art Carney played Norton with all these quirks and idiosyncrasies, and Mike Epps has these things naturally. So it was just a perfect casting.
Just I'm gonna do it.
These are guys that they really love each other as friends, you know, they respect each other, but they're both totally opposite.
The way I do things is a little unorthodox, but that's me.
The way you do things is ridiculous.
That's what make them look good together, you know?
Look at them over there. What do you think they're talking about?
Us.
Let's say the conforming interest rate is 6.5% at 1.5 points.
Trixie had a very slight role in the TV show, and I knew that, you know, Mike needed a good partner and Alice needed a good best friend in the movie to really give it some life.
Morning, Kramden. Hey, Trix.
What do you got there, Trix?
I made French toast.
It just felt like the second, you know, we got on set that we've been best friends for years. So it was kind of this natural, you know, chemistry that we just came out of nowhere. And I would consider her now a pretty close friend, just like Trixie and Alice.
Come in, Trix.
And she's hilarious. She makes me die. Like, she's a funny girl.
Friend wouldn't have did that to you.
I can't talk to her no more.
That's not your friend.
I think Trixie doesn't judge all the crazy ideas that Ralph has.
Come on, Alice. You gotta admit, your man is trying.
And she's there to support Alice, but at the same time, you know, she and her husband, Ed, they have a pretty great relationship.
You dodge?
Hell no. You got the wrong sucker. Why? Who's asking?
John Leguizamo is off the hook in the movie. He is crazy. He's a thief, con man, a robber, a crook, you name it.
Says here that you sell timeshares in the Poconos.
We don't need cars, man. We don't need cars. We're dog people. I'm sort of like the comic relief of the comics. I come in, and I'm supposed to help them train their mutt, pathetic loser dog and train him into like a big racing dog.
They train, board, and breed greyhounds. They specialize in temperamentally unsound, psychologically unstable, genetical throwbacks. I do not pick up excreta.
Picking up the excreta. Is it excreta? I don't know. I read it, so I don't know how to say it. I'm an autodidact. I taught myself. That's what autodidact means, by the way.
When John gets to the set, he's read 2 books on dog training, all about greyhounds. He's written reams of material that's not in the script.
I got overhead. What overhead? Well, you know, look, this jacket cost me about $200.
Cut.
John Schultz, as the director of this movie, has been dynamic. Because he is so dedicated to the film and he sees it and he thinks about the scenes, he thinks about the characters, it just makes you more confident that you're going to have a good quality film, that he's taking some care in.
Flying Planes was popular. Solid brass.
And that's allowed us to have a lot of fun. Freestyle and ad-lib sometimes just because we can trust each other's energy.
Throw some of that in over here, it'd be great.
Okay.
You know, this is Ralph.
Okay.
You know, to kind of give the idea of what the tours will be like.
Kramden, and welcome to...
John Schultz, our director, is so passionate. It's kind of refreshing because usually by this point, you know, people are jaded and, you know, just, you know, set up the shot. They kind of like leave everything to the other people. And John is so into it. It's so precious.
A lot of energy and action.
He's awesome, man. I'm having a great time. I mean, he's got great timing. He's inventive. He's always trying to get something better than was on the page, because the scripts will always just be a blueprint. Especially if you got Cedric, you got Mike Epps, you got moi.
You do that, and then you should immediately walk away.
Come on, man.
He'll admit it, he's a film geek. Like, John, come on, you know, nobody does that anymore. Someone told that guy he was the director, so every now and then he walks up and he says stuff to me. I don't know who the hell he is.
There are several elements from the original TV show in the movie. Up front immediately, the first time you see the apartment, it's just a straight-on flat sitcom angle. And he walks to the living room. So the first time you see their apartment in the movie, it looks exactly like the beginning of the show.
Is that what you think?
On every show, he always yells out the window to Norton.
I'm calling my boy Norton. He works in the sewers, he knows pipes.
In the movie, which you never saw on the show, you get to cut outside the building.
Yo, Norton!
And see they live right by the L on Myrtle Avenue in Bushwick.
Go Mets! Today's the day, baby. Yeah!
And see that relationship. In almost every episode, Ralph kicks everybody out of the apartment. He has a very short fuse and almost no patience. And these people who are closest to him, Ralph and Norton and Trixie, drive him crazy. So eventually he just stews and...
Get out!
Cedric does that really well as well.
Down!
As Jackie Gleason did, so we had to put that in up front too.
I wanted to keep certainly the legendary, you know, bang zoom to the moon thing in. And also, you know, in the ending, the episode by saying, "Baby, you're the greatest."
Baby, you're the greatest.
The only issue was that the whole idea behind To the Moon in the original TV show was that, Alice, my dear wife, someday I'm gonna hit you so hard that you're gonna fly to the moon.
You couldn't really say it that way. And, you know, to the moon, Alice, you can't beat your wife no more. I don't know what happened to the good old days. You just can't threaten her with, just one good one, Alice.
Anybody's looking at Gabrielle Union and saying, I'm gonna hit you so hard, I'm gonna send you to the moon. You're not gonna be on their side. You don't wanna do that to Gabrielle Union. You just don't want to. You don't want to anyway, she'd kill you if you tried.
Next thing you know is, you know, Oprah Winfrey and then Mary J. Blige write a song about it, you know, and it's just all, you know, and then there's Gloria Allred, and it is, you know, you on CNN and talking to Larry King. It is, you know, and it's totally off track.
But in general, you don't want the characters saying that. So it just fell naturally into the scene where they met.
So, Ralph Kramden, you taking me to Brooklyn or what?
I'll take you anywhere you want to go. Crown Heights, Red Hook, Bushwick. I'll take you to the moon, Alice.
And then you can interpolate if maybe years later he thought of that phrase in another way but would never say it. But, you know, but that's so we turned it into how he probably initially said it.
I thought that once I got people to love the character, identify with the character, then I could sneak in a just you, yep.
Just one good swing.
Taking the dialogue, taking some of the characters, some of the Ralph Kramden character things that were really known, and then trying to update them, make it new, make it a little relevant. That was the biggest challenge and then the most fun.
Tell the truth.
In our film, Carol Woods plays Mother Gibson, and we kept her relationship with Ralph exactly the same as it was with the characters in the original show. That was another opportunity to lift an exchange directly out, because they're always just pushing at each other, literally. So there's an exchange about a bulldozer.
Woman, one day you are gonna push me too far.
The only thing that can push you is a bulldozer.
She calls him a pervert, but then suddenly they're using dialogue from 1954.
The best line that I ever heard said about the Honeymooners was that it was a story about two guys who were both stupid. The difference is that one of them thought he was brilliant.
See, that's why you need me to do the thinking. Sometimes you gotta take the long view.
It's very much the American dream. It's aspirational. You know, I'm here, but I want to get there. And I have ideas. I know if I can make one of them work and I can hit it, my whole life will change. And it's kind of that drive to do that, which motivates the character of Ralph Kramden. He's at the heart of the Honeymooners.
The Honeymooners is just an old traditional television show that everybody loved. To bring it back to life in a modern day comedy, it's a beautiful thing, man. I'm just glad to be a part of it.
It's a wrap, people.